What's up, y'all? This is Master P. I just want to tell y'all subscribe to PIPERBOY Williams, your verified source of battle rap and entertainment. You heard me?
Shout out to everybody. I want to talk to y'all real quick. So it looks like 21 Savage put out, he's on Clubhouse, and he kind of says that he doesn't feel like Nas is relevant. You know, he puts out good music, but as of right now, he's not relevant.
No, he's not. He's not relevant. He just has a loyal fan base.
Thank you.
He just has a loyal fan base and he still make good music.
I see everybody's kind of like mad at 21 Savage right now. People are putting out their blogs. Different artists and celebrities are seeing Kodak Black come out and say something, you know, about, you know, Nas being, you know what I mean, that N-word, you know what I'm saying? I seen, you know, Kid Capri coming out saying something, speaking his piece on it. This is what I think. If 21 Savage, if that's his opinion, that's his opinion. This is what I think about it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, how do I really feel? Is Nas relevant or is he not relevant? It's different factors when you're looking at an artist, right? So when you look at an artist like Nas, who's got an immense fan base, I'm talking about dedicated, you know, hip hop heads that been, you know, fans of his for years. Like, he's put in more work than you've ever been able to put out. And this is not like a disrespect to 21 Savage, it's just the reality of the situation, right? You got to think, like, Nas has been around since Pac. You know what I mean? Since, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't hard to tell. Like, you know, he's the voice of Queens. You know, New York is like the mecca of hip hop. And when you have somebody that's a voice of a borough, you know, it's something that can't be replaced or manufactured, right? So, like, when we see the newer artists, which, yeah, like a 21 Savage or somebody like that, like, you might have more, I would say, like, more followers on Twitter or more followers on Instagram, things like that. Different artists, even like maybe, you know what I mean? Like, people, I hear people talking about like Glorilla, like she's lit, right? Like, everybody's talking about her. So when you gauge like a relevance, it could be like different factors. For me, I feel like mainstream hip hop right now, the relevance is more geared towards the younger audiences. So if he's like saying like, yo, I don't feel like he's relevant to like the younger artists, audiences, or the new wave of like hip hop, I can't like disagree with like what he's saying, like if he's saying that, but it's so many different factors. If you look at hip hop as a whole, like, you cannot say Nas is not relevant. You know, like, me personally, like, I used to work at Island Def Jam, you know what I mean? I've met Nas before, I've met Jay-Z before, I've met these people before. And like, one thing about them, it's like a legend with them. You know what I mean? It's like, if you see like a 21 Savage or a Nas, you know, there's more history. You know, you're going to probably, if you're younger, you might want to talk to 21 Savage, but if you know anything about hip hop, you might want to talk to Nas. You're going to go that way, you know, just because of the history, the groundwork that he's put in, like what he's known for, the albums that he sold, the classics that he put out, you know, whereas like you, I think is dope. You know, you got your dope songs. You just did like a whole album with Drake, which is like the biggest like rap artist right now, you know, in terms of popularity. So you may be feeling yourself. I seen you, you know, you calling out like, you know, rappers in London saying you the best rapper in London or the UK, wherever you from, you know, and maybe it's like you feel like, yo, you've reached a point to where now you can say things like that in America, and it doesn't work like that. I don't think you've been here long enough to really even know Nas's history. You know what I mean? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, you know what I mean? But, you know, to say he's irrelevant, like, nah, bro. You know what I mean? I think he misspoke, and this is the problem, like, with Clubhouse, right? It's like, y'all want to get on there, and I think isn't this Nas's Clubhouse? Wait a minute! Just saying. You know what I mean? But isn't this like, you know what I mean? So you on Clubhouse and you talking. The problem is you're going to be talking to people and they're going to get you to say things out of character. Your publicist is not going to be there. But this may be like how he truly feels. You know what I mean? Like, he feels like Nas is irrelevant. Do I feel like Nas is relevant? When you got an immense fan base like he has, it kind of moved towards what 21 Savage is saying. Yeah, he's got like a die-hard, like kind of a cult like following. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of people going to rock with him because he's got a strong core fan base. But as far as right now, what's going on, like, he's not as relevant. I agree and I disagree, because I do feel like Nas has that strong quote followings of old heads. It is what it is. that rock with hip hop and the rock with his message, you know, and, you know, he's one of these artists that don't just put out, you know, drinking and selling drugs and robbing and killing. Like, he's more than like what you guys are, you know, so it's like difficult to quantify an artist like Nas, you know, so to me, I agree with 21 Savage when he's saying like, yo, he's relevant to his fan base. As far as right now in the music or what they trying to push on to the youth, he's not. You know, but can he outsell a lot of these artists, you know what I mean, that they're trying to push on to the youth, or, you know, that's kind of running the game right now? I think he can, you know, and the thing is, like, he can outsell these artists with no promotion. You know what I mean? It's one thing that people aren't thinking about. Yeah, you might have like Glorilla, or you might have like all these artists like going on the circuit, marketing, promoting, having Cardi B on the track, doing all this. And you know what I mean? No disrespect to Glorilla, but he can put out like an Instagram post and generate more revenue, you know what I mean, than they can probably generate doing all of this, the BET shows and doing all the stuff he already did. Like, he can generate more revenue. So if I'm looking at it at an executive standpoint, and if I'm thinking like who's more relevant, is more than likely going to be Nas. You know what I'm saying? But with the newer fan base, yeah, like 21 Savage, I can't say he's wrong with that. You know, and it's okay for newer artists to have an opinion. One thing I feel like a lot of old heads feel like people just have to play business as usual. And it doesn't have to be like that. If he feels like Nas is not relevant, let Nas speak about it. Yeah, Nas has gotten to the point to where people will speak for him, but like, why don't he speak about it? Like, put him in his place, like, if he feels it. You know what I mean? Can 21 Savage like come out with, you know what I mean, like a song like New York, or, you know what I mean, like Jay-Z did, that hits, you know what I'm saying, or have a track, you know, with what's his name, DJ Khaled, like the guy did, like just one verse. Can he make, you know what I mean, 21 Savage make the world stop, you know, with that? Like, he can't do nothing like that, but he can put out good music. You know what I'm saying? Can, you know, if Nas decides to go at some, if he decides to go at somebody, like, the world would stop. He knows the power that he has. You know what I'm saying? So as far as Nas, like, that's a person that you kind of don't want to say anything about. Like, if you know what I'm saying, if you know American hip hop, you kind of want to stay away from that. But at the same time, like 21 Savage, he's, you know, like, he's young. If he feels like saying that, he can say it. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree all the way with what he's saying, but, you know, like, in some aspects, I think he's right. You know what I mean? I think 21 Savage, social media wise, is more powerful than Nas. He is. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, with the newer audiences. But, you know, people like that used to listen to hip hop like back in the day and still, they don't be all active on Twitter and active on Instagram like that. So you can't really quantify like a Nas. Like, he was doing millions and millions of views, you know, like on MTV and BET before social media was able to quantify or capture any of this. You know, so it's easy to say like, oh, well, he ain't relevant now, you know, but when you look at the totality of his career, like, saying anything like that is going to be perceived as disrespect from a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I met Nas before, I met Jay-Z before. It's a different aura around them. You know what I mean? Like, when they're walking around and people talking, that's history. Now, these guys are going to be going down in the history books, if not, you know, being like, you know what I'm saying, on the Walk of Fames and, you know what I mean, all that. Like, you talking about rock and roll Hall of Fame type players, dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't putting that much work, you know? So, you know, if, as a record exec, like, yeah, they'll look at it like probably from 21 Savage's perspective of what would sell now, you know what I mean? But they're also going to, like, look at, you know, what Nas, his history and what he can do, you know what I mean, without marketing and promotion. He'll always be relevant to hip hop. That's a voice of a borough. You know what I mean? He's like one of the major voices of New York City. Like, not like, you know what I mean, 80 of these, like, and I ain't like dissing to them like these young, like, trap artists coming up and all this, you know, Bobby Schmurters and all these people. They will never have a voice as powerful as Nas. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible for them to do it. Like, you can't manufacture history. You know what I'm saying? To the point, like, we heard everything. We seen everything. We seen the beefs. We seen the back and forth. Like, Takeover. When Nas dropped Ether, what that did. You know what I mean? Like how everybody, it didn't matter where you were in life, you stopped and you wanted to hear what was being said. You know what I'm saying? Like not many artists can do that. But 21 Savage just proved he can put an opinion out, you know, on Clubhouse, barely say anything. And the world's going wild right now. You know what I'm saying? Off of his opinion. People in different cultures and people in different, you know what I'm saying, YouTube fan bases talking about it. Because he's got power. And it's something that people don't want to, like, you know what I mean, like recognize. But he's got power. He can say things if he feels a certain way, you know, and people are going to listen. You know, so I feel like he's done enough to garner that much support, you know what I mean, from his fan base and from people's, you know, that been listening to his music, you know. But as far as like Nas not being relevant, he would always be a part of hip hop. It cannot be taken away. But the newer fans, he's not as relevant to. 21 is not lying. You know what I'm saying? But y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section. Well, I know y'all old heads gonna get mad. Y'all gonna get mad. It is what it is. Like, as time goes on, like, music evolves. You know what I'm saying? Like, rap music has evolved. It's evolved in something that we don't like, a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? I prefer, you know, like, the older, you know what I mean? Like, the Tupacs and DMXs and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain type of music. You know, and some of the Nas tracks I prefer, like Jay-Z and stuff like that. Like, now, yeah, I like some 21 Savage. You know what I'm saying? But it's a different time period that I lived in. I lived through the 90s. You know what I mean? Like I lived through, you know what I mean? A lot of this, you know, so for me it's different, but you know, just because I like certain specific music doesn't mean, you know, I'm completely against like a 21 Savage or what he's doing. He just had like an album with one of the greatest like rappers ever in terms of right now, you know what I mean? And pop music, you know what I'm saying? Drake, you know, and to me, it doesn't seem like if Nas was to do an album with Drake, it wouldn't be looked at as, you know what I mean? You look more like a feature on that album. I'm not this year, I'm just saying what it is. It looks more like you were featured on the album than you guys collaborated. But if a Nas or somebody was to do like an album with Drake or a Jay-Z, it's enough power behind them to kind of even the playing field, you know, to where it doesn't look like you're just featured on an album. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. Let a young brother shine. But 21, I'm telling you, you cannot come to America and diss an American artist because they will ship you back to London. They not playing, bruh. You got people hot. They mad. What they say about Nas? Where he live at? Jay-Z, you done gave him a lawyer. You done got him out of jail, Jay-Z. What's up with that? Look what he doing, Jay-Z. They mad. They mad at Jay now. I know Jay-Z sitting back like, man, I should not have gotten him out of jail. You gotta watch it, Hove. You supporting these younger artists? You know what I'm saying? They fly off at the mouth. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Jay-Z. Shout out to everybody. I'm out. Come and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about it. I see you, Kid Capri. You had a lot to say, you know, about 21 Savage. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot to say about him, but, you know, then you saying, like, at the end, like, he can have his opinion. He can have his opinion. Everybody, like, y'all don't run it no more. I'm sorry, y'all don't. Y'all don't. The newer artists, they run the new wave. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? But they run the new wave. It's something you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? 21 going to be here and y'all ain't going to be able to stop him. He can say what he want. You know what I'm saying? But I'm out. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. But 21, before I get out of here, leave Nas alone. Nas, you going to say something? You got the energy. You going to say something? Or you just going to let it go? You know what I'm saying? I'm Nas. I'm too big to respond. You going to play that game? You going to say something? You ain't going to. But then, like, it's like if he responds, if he says something, people go, Nas, why you respond to him? He a king. He in a different space, dog. You can't do stuff like that, 21. You can't be like, if I respond, you know what I'm saying? Like, Nas on the throne. He one of them. He's a king of queens. He's on the throne. He got to decide if he gonna say something. He cannot say nothing and just ignore you. He can. You know what I'm saying? And it would be understandable because you're not on that level. You know what I'm saying? But tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. Comment, rate, subscribe. Y'all can't diss nobody in New York. They've been putting in work. What? In the Mecca? Y'all sound crazy.